now with John Shipley.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering if there were any updates on Laviska Shenault and Brandon Linder's injuries.
You know what? They're still being evaluated. So, until that stuff comes back, we're expecting it back later this afternoon. There was some scheduling stuff that we had to work through. But again, I'll know more later today. So it's just basically with Laviska, it's just the hand with the thumb issue, and then obviously it's the ankle with Brandon.
And a quick follow-up, Coach. Just how did you feel Colin Johnson stepped up in Laviska's spot once he went out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Colin these past couple of weeks make some plays. I think that early on we talked about that he was doing a really good job in practice and really playing well, and then then really wasn't playing like he was practicing early on. And I think now it's starting to carry over now into the field, where he is starting to be making has the ability to make plays for us. So I'm happy to see that, because he's a smart kid. He works extremely hard, and that's what you want to see from some of these young guys, is that stuff starting to come from the practice and move on to the field. And he's one of those guys that has been doing that.
Thanks, Shipley. We'll go to Mike Duraco.
Hey, Doug. Is McLaughlin going to be the kicker the rest of the way? And if that's the case, is that, I guess, comforting to know that you don't have to worry about who's going to be doing it each week?
I don't know. I mean, we're still looking at that, and we're trying to figure out who gives us the best chance to win, just like all these other positions. So, because we obviously we do have Aldrich on the roster to practice squad. So, I'm happy with Chase. I like Aldrich, so I think whoever we feel is kicking well, that's who we'll go with.
Any consideration to having Logan Cook try that long field goal yesterday at all, or was that an issue with not having a?
I think Logan's been such a solid player for us, and we've had a lot on his plate, and sometimes things will go ahead and affect the way he plays, but he's a consistent player. We did have that discussion.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, D-Rock. We'll go to John Reed.
How you doing, Coach? From your viewpoint, what are you seeing in Garner? Is he showing you that he's all in that backup role? I mean, what is your viewpoint from what you see in the past?
I mean, he came. We talked today, and just like I told him, I just want to see more practice. I think he's working on his volume and the amount of throws and all of that. And, he's cleared medically, but still you want to be able to see those things on the practice field. I just think right now in practice, Mike is throwing better and gives us the best chance to win. And I don't think Gardner's 100% as far as his workload, and that's always a concern to me. And I'm trying to understand it, and we're both trying to work through it.
And what his demeanor is, that he acceptable of this. I mean, obviously it has to do what you say, but is he urging you to look? I mean, what is his mindset?
Yeah, I mean, we've been having a lot of conversations. I mean, so it's not a problem at all. I mean, he's, whatever he feels he can do is best for the team, he'll do. I mean, he's said that quite a bit. So, I don't see a problem there. The communication's been fine. I think everything's been upfront. Everything's been talked about. So I feel comfortable with that. So I think he's trying to do everything he can to get himself back to a point where he feels comfortable and his workload is right.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, no problem, John.
Thanks, John. We'll go to Gene Fournette.
Hey, Doug. I was just curious about something. When you said yesterday pretty definitively after the game that Mike would get the start this coming week, it was kind of it caught me at least a little bit off guard, given the fact that Mike had 3 turnovers in the game, and every coach, that's the biggest no-no there is. Was there any serious thought given to going back to Gardner, or is it the fact that his workload isn't where you want it, sort of the deciding factor?
Yeah, I think it's the workload and what I'm seeing during the week. I think that, it's difficult when you guys aren't, out there. Obviously, you guys aren't out there. So, you really can't see the same things that go into, some of the decision making that goes on. And, like I said, I think I think I said last night, I think we're going to look at Mike and we're going to evaluate it and then really try to clean up some things, because right now I believe that he's throwing the ball well enough, but obviously the turnovers is not something, that you want. I think that, the fumble, doing too much, trying to run it, guys are going to be able to catch him from behind and knock it out, have a conversation with him about that, which we did. And then obviously, in the end zone, I mean, I know we got pressure, but it was a safety, but you still have to hang on to the ball there. The first one, I thought we could have been more aggressive going for the ball. I think it went through his hands and was a pick. And then the last one, we just got to keep working with him and DJ and trying to get that better. But that guy stood inside and he was trying to make a big play and forced it and should have hit the check down. So, I think that those things are correctable. I think it was, it's easy because of the workload situation, knowing that, hey, listen, we're going to stay with him until, the workload and the throw in during the week for Gardner gets right. And then it gets to a point where you do have to make a decision.
Thanks, Gene. We'll go to Gary Smits.
Hey, Doug. You guys had a pretty good defensive game against Derrick Henry in September. Played pretty well against Dalvin Cook yesterday. The run defense has been kind of up and down, but by and large has been pretty well. When you guys play the run well, what is the pattern? You do good gap control, gang tackling. When things are going good, what do you see in that defense?
Well, I think, you look at, these, our interior guys, like even, with Costin and Daniel and Adam, going in, those guys have been, doing a nice job. They really have. So, when those guys can go up there and they can be disruptive and hold a point, then obviously, we have a chance and everyone's in the right gap. I think overall, if I'm not mistaken with your question, when we have everyone fitting the right gap, and I think you could probably say this to any defense, it's gonna be difficult, to run the football. If you can hold a point and fit your gaps, it's gonna go well. I think for us, when you look at it, those have been the biggest issues of when we haven't been able, to control the run. There's two things I think you can look at. It's the gap, and the fits, obviously, and then obviously the missed tackle. So I guess when you're fitting your gaps and you're tackling well, you got a chance to be pretty darn good, in this league. So, that's the challenge for us, and that's what we keep working on.
Thanks, Gary. We'll go back to Gene.
Hey, Doug, I just wanted to clarify something on what you said about, and Mike mentioned it after the game about it should have gone to the check down and done it that way instead of, and at least live with the punt. But when you watch the tape of that play, I mean, DJ Chark appears there's a window to get him the ball. It just looked like the quarterback let him too much. Did you really have a problem with the decision? I know you didn't like the outcome.
Well, it's hard to. I think Mike, so Mike said that, hey, listen, he should have took the check down, correct? Is that what you're telling me, Gene?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. And the reason why is, again, not to get into like all these, like, I'll just try to keep it. When the safety's sitting that far inside,
right,
we'd rather go hit the check down because he at least has, with the distance of the throw, he still has the ability to break on the ball, and then obviously the throw was inside and, it's just, you're trying to make a play. So that's not what we teach. That's not how we wanted it done. And that's, and I think Mike said it afterwards. So, you got to hit the check down and go. And the check down, the check downs always have a chance to get it, even though you want to push the ball past the
Sure.
stick. So, there's, I can see what some people would say. There is a window between him and the safety, but if the safety's inside like that, you don't really want to do that. You want that safety to be wider.
So to be clear, what you're saying is that even if the pass had been right to DJ, not let him too much, the safety would have, the length of the throw, the safety would have had time to probably get there and break it up, or at least defend it properly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to argue it, defend it. Whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying that, I think if you look at it from how maybe a fan or you look at things, if you throw that ball on a strike, can that safety get there or not? I don't know. Probably, maybe not in that situation, right? Okay, maybe not. I mean, I'm going to give you that.
Right.
But if you want to be consistent over the course of time and be the best you can be, you want that safety off that hash turning, okay, covering, going out wider, all right, and then breaking it in and having the window open to you. So it's just, again, I'm just telling you how we teach it. Maybe
right.
I'm not trying to defend it. I'm really not. I'm just saying that I understand what people may see or may look like, what it may look like on tape, and maybe you can get it in there. Some guys do. Some guys will throw it in there and you'll get it in there. Mike has the ability to do that. But we just didn't get it done. And I think at the end of the day, when things go errant and, you have a bad play, then you go back through, how everything's taught. You're like, okay, I could have hit the check down. And then when guys make those plays, you're like, hey, great play, but you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens a lot. Not a lot. I should say it happens.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gene. We'll go to Mia O'Brien.
Hey, Doug, just kind of building off the question before that about interior of the defensive line, how would you evaluate the rotation you had there and those guys that played yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I like the rotation. Those guys are making plays. I mean, those guys made, and they continue to have it. I mean, Doug had 5 tackles and a batted ball and a sack. So he's been playing at a good level for us. I mean, Daniel was disruptive. I thought he did a really good job holding the point. He had another good game, I thought. So those guys, and Adam Gossett has been solid for us all year. He really has. So, those inside guys are playing, and we're trying to, see, get Taven to keep coming along. I mean, he's not as productive right now as those other players in there for us.
Thanks, Mia. We'll wrap up with John Shipley.
Hey, Coach. How would you assess the game that Caleb Vaughn had yesterday? Because at least seen from the outside that it was one of his more disruptive games, just in terms of disrupting the passer and setting the edge.
I mean, I think after you're done and you're done with the disappointment of the outcome, and you're trying to look at things with a good perspective. I thought by far this was the best he's played since he's been here, which is really encouraging, because it's not from a lack of him not willing to put in the work or willing to know what to do. It's just getting out there and just keep going. And we had long discussions this week. I had discussions with him. I'm like, hey, listen, don't stop your feet before contact. He has been doing a good job in the run game, but he affected the quarterback yesterday. So that was the first time, where I felt like, hey, listen, he felt good about what he was doing. He was going, and now we got to build on it, because, it's one of those things where, some players can take a gradual increase, and just get a little bit better as you keep going and keep playing. And some players, all of a sudden, boom, the light comes on and it goes. So I'm hoping that, with Caleb on, I think, he's going to see everything we've been saying. He's going to see it on film tomorrow. He's going to watch it and go, hey, listen, I got a chance now to really make some things happen. So from that standpoint, that was an exciting, part of, for him. I was excited for him. Obviously, I'm not, I'm disappointed with the outcome, but I am excited for him because he has worked hard.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you, Shipley, and thank you, Coach. That wraps up today. We'll see everyone on Wednesday.